Hey everybody, welcome back. Leopazzo TV, thank you very much for tuning in. You are now stepping into another season of Reef Tank Addiction. JP, this is an amazing tank you have, and I want to say thank you very much for having me over at your tank.
Hey guys, so my name is JP. I've been in the hobby for just about 3 years now. This is my 270-gallon display tank. I hope that you enjoy it. And this is Leopazzo TV.
You know it, guys. Let's go ahead and find out everything we can about JP's tank. Woo! 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 I'm going to move this camera so we can get a better, closer look at some of these fish and coral. Alright guys, now we are ready to dive into JP's 270-gallon tank and find out a little bit more about him and this complete setup. Let's start off with your favorite fish, JP. Which one is it?
Alright guys, so as you can see, my tank is it's got a lot of anthias. My favorite fish are anthias, pretty much. Why? Because they are very colorful and they school, as well as they're pretty much all over on like many reefs around the world, and they make the reef become more lively.
Fantastic. So the anthias, what else? What other fish is your favorite fish? You mentioned yellow tang. You were a very fan of when you were younger.
That's right. The color of the yellow tang is unmatchable for most of the color in the fish, and they really add coloration because yellow is a rare color for the reef itself. So they're also one of my favorites. And my favorite corals would be basically the yellow pokeroo. And
which one is the yellow pokeroo?
The Reef Raft.
You gotta show me. Which one is that one? I'm not too amazing with names over here.
Right, so you
right there. So it's like a greeny, orangey, yellowy color?
That's correct.
Is that the one? What's the name of that one again?
Reef Raft Pokeroo.
Wow. And what was another one you mentioned as well?
Reef Raft Pink Cadillac, which is over there. So
you gotta point to me exactly.
Right there.
But that's an SPS as well, right?
Yeah. That's an SPS. Yes. Yeah. The Sapastria is an LPS.
Wow, that guy looks amazing too. And I noticed you got some zoas here growing on your back glass as well.
Yes. Just decided to glue it everywhere and put frag plugs everywhere, and they just grew all over. They
started growing, eh? What about here on the sand bed?
So you can see actually, if you separate my tank up, you can see that there are gardens of species of different
kind of sectioned out
together. That's right. That's correct. As you can see in this section, I actually have anemones. I got bubble tips. Yeah. I got rock flowers, Medimax carpet.
So these guys are kind of okay to touch each other?
They're not okay to touch each other, but actually I separated them from my tank. So basically, I separated island for that reason, because they're not okay to touch, and they actually will sting corals. Same thing with the green star polyps, as you can see.
Which ones? Oh, right here, the GSP, yeah?
Yeah, so...
And they're okay to touch the brain and the anemone, kind of?
That's correct, yes.
Awesome.
Got a clam in here.
Where? Right here?
Wow. You got a whole bunch of LPS in there, too, just to mix around. Basically, you can't really put all the LPS together, because they will actually, it will result in coral warfare, in which they release their toxins and chemicals to kill other corals.
Wow, I love the view of this tank over here, eh? You know what, I think we should go over some of your equipment and I guess your schedule and whatnot. So let's go ahead and do that. I want to figure out this lighting here. What are these? Are these LEDs?
Yes, that's correct. I'm running right now 6 Radeon Gen 3 Pros. Yeah. There's 2 T5s in the back.
Oh, you have T5 as well, eh?
That's correct. I believe the T5 adds not just growth, but it adds a different coloration. Right.
So the T5s add a little bit of growth you're noticing and coloration, eh?
That's according to a lot of research for many people these days.
What T5s do you have in there, for an example? Like what colors do you have added?
Just actually actinic.
Actinics you have added, eh? So we went on the bluer side.
That's correct.
Wow. So what kind of a like lighting schedule do you have on this? Like how many hours and, you know?
Yeah, I schedule my tank actually approximately to start around 11 in the morning until about 11 at night. So it goes off around 11, I would say exactly, because it dims all the way till then. And then I have about 2 hours of white light and the rest will be just blue. For the reason is because I like to enjoy the the luminescence of the corals.
Right. So overall, in a full 24-hour period a day, how many hours would you have your LED lights on or your whole lights on? Like what is that?
My T5s go on for only about 6 hours, and my LEDs go on for 12.
You're gonna feed this tank for me, aren't you? Eventually, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
Can you?
Do that. I could do that.
Would I be able to film these guys eat eventually when we're ready?
Oh yeah, let's do it right now.
Let's talk about your feeding schedule as you're feeding them and what you're feeding. Let's figure this out. What are you feeding them and like how often? And let's feed them at the same time. Are we gonna feed the corals? Are we gonna feed the fish? Are we gonna do anything super special? Do you spot feed them? All those kind of like, start with one of those questions and go to town, or start branching off, or get the food or something, man.
Right. So basically I feed my fish pretty much flakes, doesn't matter what brand.
Okay.
And I feed them a little bit of frozen as well, so I'll show you guys.
Yeah,
as you
please.
can see, all the fish are pretty much excited because I'm about to feed them. So what I do is I normally shut off the flow.
Right. Okay. So you shut off.
I'll show you. So I'll shut up the flow. So
flow as in what, power heads?
Yes.
Or pump, skimmer, everything?
In general, sorry. And I leave the flow on actually.
So the return pump you just shut off?
I just shut off the return pump. As you can see, the water is going to decrease over here.
Right.
I've got a wireless remote, and this prevents the food from just going over.
So right now the tank is back siphoning into the sump, whatever kind of water, right?
That's
from the
correct.
return line?
Right.
Okay, so and the fish are noticing that they're going to be fed. And where are you going to be feeding this from?
I actually have a spot over here in the back here. Just reach
Is that
hand.
right? Can I see this somehow? Go ahead. Let me see.
And I just put it like there.
Right, so you put your hand inside there.
That's correct.
And then boom, the fish are getting fed. So these flakes, I'm guessing they're considered more for the fish than the corals, right?
Right, actually, I used to feed my corals, but I don't feed them anymore.
Right. Specifically, you don't feed them any coral food?
No coral food. I think, it's just too much maintenance, and there are a lot of theories out there that basically, the fish, when they obviously, have their bowels moved, it's supposed to feed the corals. In
right.
The end.
Yeah, because most corals or some corals are like filter feeder kind of corals. Like they filter through the water, and sometimes, that's what they do. They just, collect what's in the water.
That's correct.
So what about testing? Talking about water, like, do you test, and what do you test for, and what's all that all about? Because like for your corals to be looking like this, your water has to be top notch, does it not? Like we got to get into water changes. Like, bro, I just want to know everything right now.
To be honest, I've only done a water change twice within 6 months, and I've never tested my chemistry.
Is that right?
That's correct. Yes, I have a lot of test kits. I'll show you after. But
is this something that you're trying to encourage here, JP?
No, I'm not trying to encourage that, guys. Don't do that. Just I've sort of done this for almost 3 years, like I said, so I'm very familiar with it. I feel that as long as the corals look happy, I don't need to do anything. It's when you actually make changes that can cause problems in your tank.
Exactly. You know what? I agree. Sometimes just leaving things alone and keeping your hands out of the tank you're better off, right?
Exactly. That's why I barricade the tank so I don't go in there.
Yeah. So no testing for you.
Just salinity.
Salinity. Your salt.
I use a refractometer, and I also have a hydrometer.
Okay. And which one do you prefer? Either or?
I prefer a refractometer. It's supposed to be more accurate.